Hey. Time for the Out of This World story from rSpace. Sometimes things that appear flawless on the surface can hide the most unsettling truths. But over time, cracks begin to show. Today on rSpace, everything starts to unravel when a selfish wife starts to push for changes. Big ones. My wife, female 48, has been cheating on me, male 41, while neglecting our 3 children. Waiting to file for divorce, but scared I won't get my children. Hi all, I, male 41, just need to tell someone about this. I don't have anyone near me, and I feel like if I write it all out, then maybe it can clear my head. This will be long, but I'm putting it out there because maybe if I get it written, then it will make sense to me. So I married my wife, female 48, let's call her May, in March of 2008. We met at a party through a mutual friend. She had graduated from a community college working as a paralegal, and I was finishing grad school for biomechanical engineering. We hit it off right away, and within a few months, we decided to officially start dating. May was great. She was pretty, smart, kind, and would give the shirt off her back if that meant that someone else would be warm. She has one sister that is important to this entire thing. I will call her Jane, female 43. Jane and May were not very close throughout their childhood, but they became close as they grew older. When May and I had dated for a year, there was a conflict with her landlord, and she had 30 days to leave her apartment. I obviously did not want her to be homeless, so we decided to move in together. Things were great. One thing I admired is how simple May wanted our life. Things were early, but we were seriously dating. We talked about kids, about moving to a different part of the country, what we wanted in life, and it was like we both checked off all the boxes. When I finished my graduate degree, I proposed to May, and she said yes. At this point, we'd been dating for close to 4 years. Both of our families were thrilled, but we ended up having a small wedding, saving most of our funds for the future. My parents paid for half the wedding. I only have one brother who remains unmarried, but with a spouse, so they wanted us to have an actual wedding. It was really fun, and it was one of the best days of my life. After our wedding, we decided that we wanted to have kids. Additionally, I got a job with a big company which forced us to move about 14 hours away from where we met. This was very hard on May because she really loved her family, and she was used to having them right there when she needed them. However, we had talked about this prior to getting married, and if the right opportunity presented itself, then we would take it. And this was that opportunity. So, we moved down to a southern city in the US with a great school district and relatively moderate housing prices. That is why we didn't have such an extravagant wedding, because we put a down payment on a house. It was weird having a house and this huge job, but May and I took it in stride. One thing about my work is that I'm required to go on business trips. At first it was for 1 to 2 days a week. However, as I progressed my way through the ladder, it soon became 5-day trips, from Monday morning to Friday evening. I felt bad because I knew it was difficult on May to have her husband away for so long, but I made sure we had constant contact, and when I got back, I wanted to make sure that I gave her all the dedication she deserved. Plus, the pay was really good for this job. I knew that if I could stick it out for a few years, we would have enough money to start looking into having kids. Well, things changed when May called me multiple times when I was at the airport, getting ready to drive back home after my work week. It was odd because she typically would only call me once or twice, but she then texted me frantically telling me that she needed me home ASAP. I asked her what was wrong, but she said to get there when I could. I flew out of the airport, and what was typically an hour drive was closer to 30 minutes. My heart was beating so badly out of my chest, and I was worried that something bad had happened. When I got back home, I flew through the door and it was completely dark. I started screaming for May, but it was completely quiet for a few seconds, until the lights came on and May was holding a cake with a simple plus symbol on it. I looked at her. I was confused. "What is this?" I asked, and then it dawned on me. I asked her if she was pregnant. She said yes. We hugged, cried, and were so happy to finally be parents. We hadn't been trying, but we also wouldn't mind if we had children. From then, the next 4 years were an absolute whirlwind. We had 3 beautiful daughters, each one being about 18 months apart from one another. Things started to become crazy with having little children and my work continuing to pick up. I tried my best to be attentive and lessen my work load to help care for my children. What I did was make it so my trips were actually in town, so I didn't have to travel. I would start early in the day, helping May wake the kids, getting them ready, and before I would leave, I would ensure that they were packed, ready for preschool and good to go. I would then come back in the evening, around 6 o'clock, to have the home-cooked meal and spend time with my daughters before bed. As the years progressed and my daughters got older, my work required me to increase my business trip days. It was now every week that I was away Monday to Friday night. I would keep in constant contact with my kids, talking to them every day. On the weekends, I would make sure that we would have either an activity with just the girls and I, so May could get a break, or all of us, so we could have family bonding. The girls became more independent, and May was thinking of going back to school to get a certification in real estate, but we always held off on the idea until the girls were in their early teens. I encouraged May to go for it, but she also said that it was too much work with the girls, and being a full-time mom would make it difficult to get her certification. I didn't argue with her on it because what she was saying was absolutely true. Being a full-time mom was incredibly difficult, and maybe when the girls were teenagers or preteens, then May could get the certification. One evening when the girls were in bed and May and I were in our room, she brought up the idea of moving. I was kind of surprised because I thought we both liked it where we were. Our girls grew up here. They had all their friends, all their interests, and they found the city as home. But May said that she was starting to feel suffocated and that this change would be the chance she could get to get her certification. She said it would be like a renewal. I told her that this would make my travel schedule even longer, where we were right near a major airport hub, so traveling was easy. But when I asked her where, she said she already knew where she wanted to be. It was right on the East Coast. She said she found this house she liked, and maybe we could tour it on our next vacation to this area in about 2 weeks. I was kind of surprised about how much in depth she already knew where to go, and it was apparent she had been thinking about this for a while. I wanted to agree with her, but my thoughts were about our girls. Would it be fair to them to just suddenly uproot our lives and go to this place where they would have no friends or connections? 2 weeks later, we went on vacation. The girls were enrolled in tennis academy lessons as all of them were very dedicated and loved the sport. We had some free time and decided to go check out the place that May had looked at. Again, I was hesitant, but when we went to the area, May fell in love. Seeing her so happy made me wonder if moving was the right idea. I mean, we had vacation to this place twice a year for 8 odd years. May then grabbed my hands and looked at me saying that this was where she wanted to live. I told her that the houses were far out of our price range considering we have 3 almost preteen girls that have to get to college. But she said she knew a house that would be right in our budget. It had been on the market for 8 months and was heavily discounted. There also was an open house the next day, so we went there, and May just about was head over heels for this house. And within 2 months, we'd completely uprooted our lives and left. I thought we should have waited until the school year ended, but May was insistent to leave. We had talked to our girls, and they were fine with it, though my youngest, Lily, female 14, seemed to be taking the move really hard. I noticed at first how quiet she was. She said she was fine with moving, but I could see how difficult it was for her moving to a new school with only a couple weeks left to go. I sat down and talked with Lily, and she admitted that she said it was fine to move, but she felt like May had forced her to say yes. I told her that what she was telling me wasn't okay, and that I understand her feelings and will talk to May about it. However, Lily said to not tell her because it would upset May. Respecting Lily's wishes, I didn't tell May, but there was something in my heart telling me that something was wrong. The school year ended and the girls were enrolled in a full-time tennis program within our neighborhood. Everything was right there. We lived in a gated community with a huge tennis center, multiple pools, and right outside was a named grocery store. The girls were in biking vicinity for everything, and it felt like everything was going great. However, I noticed that Lily and her middle daughter Abby, female 12, were starting to become more distant from May and I. We assumed it was because they were preteens and liked their freedom. May then said that she wanted to get certification, and I told her to go for it and that I would support her. Also, the girls were most independent, plus the classes were in the evening, so May would still be there for our girls when she left around 7 p.m. and got back when they were sleeping around 11 p.m. I didn't like the idea of leaving my girls alone for so long, but the area was very safe, and the girls had a neighbor right next door if anything happened. Things were going well until one weekend when I was home in the afternoon making lunch. Lily got back home and didn't say hi to me. She had tears in her eyes and she went to her room, locking her door. I was majorly concerned and went to Lily's door and knocked on it, asking her what was wrong, but she just told me to leave her alone. I told her that if she wanted anything, she could go to my bedroom. After a few moments of silence, Lily unlocked her door and it was apparent she had been crying. She looked around and asked if Mom was there, and I said no, that she was studying at the library. Her certification licensing exam was coming up. Lily wiped her tears and hugged me, just crying. My heart ached and I just hugged her back, not knowing what to do. Only then did I really notice how small she had gotten. Lily was always a bit bigger in size despite doing lots of activities and eating regular and healthy meals. This summer, I noticed she had lost weight, but now I was seeing just how much weight she had lost. It had me concerned, but I wasn't sure what to say. I asked Lily what was wrong, but when we released, she just shook her head, said thank you, and closed the door. I was absolutely confused, unsure that this was just some preteen emotions or if something was really wrong. My first instinct was to call May and ask her what to do, but I wanted to honor Lily's wishes, so I didn't call May. However, I soon became curious and went to our garage where there were medical documents sorted away. I went ahead and pulled out Lily's annual physical documents and noticed how drastically her weight had gone down. At 12, she was 5'3" and 130 pounds, and then at 14, she was 5'4" and 110 pounds. I knew something was really wrong, and something just didn't feel right. As I was putting documents away, my mind kept running. I went to the fridge and curiously checked the groceries we had in there. We had groceries, but I noticed that the stuff we had was entirely new. Obviously, with a family of 5, we had a lot of groceries, but everything was completely new from the day before. I pushed it out of my mind, but I made a mental note about it. Over the next few weekends, I noticed that Lily became more withdrawn and our girls were acting out more. They were still younger, but the tantrums were almost daily. It wasn't just tantrums. They were screaming matches and lots of slamming doors and hitting things. This hadn't happened until recently, and I noticed that Lily often had to break up the fights and would manage to calm down her sisters better than May or I. Suddenly, a few months ago, one morning, our youngest, June, female, 10, woke up in agonizing pain and we were going to take her to the hospital, but May insisted that she will go with June and I will stay home with our other 2 daughters so that when they got up, we could go to the ER and they wouldn't be panicked. I helped June to the car and May drove off hurriedly. I went back indoors before I noticed that May had left her phone. This sounds like a bad movie, doesn't it? We had an open phone policy and I was going to look away before I saw a notification pop up. It was from her sister. At first I was going to walk away, but I checked the message and my whole world changed. Her sister had been warning me to stop the affair because if I found out, it would ruin everything. Of course I was confused. What just happened? Inclined, I scrolled back and looked in horror to see that May was admitting to her sister that she missed being with who we will call Derek, and that he made her feel so much like a woman when they were together. Messages said that she couldn't wait for her library meetings with him and that she knew it was wrong, but she started to fall in love with him. Hurriedly, I went out other messages and looked for Derek, but there was no contact. I looked into a search bar and typed Derek, and lo and behold, under a different alias named Jenny, there were nudes, sexting, and plans to meet up almost every evening of the week when I was away on business trips. I was so disgusted and I didn't know what to do. But logically, I needed to ensure that I had this contact, so I wrote down the number and information and put the message screen back to her sister. Suddenly, this life I had thought I was leading was crumbling down. An affair? For how long? Was it just him? Was it sexual? Emotional? Have my girls seen him? So many questions running through my mind, and behind the anger, I felt blame. If I had spent more time with May, then she wouldn't have to chase another man. After 20 minutes, I woke up the girls and we all went to the ER. On the way, I got a call from the hospital asking if I was June's father, and I said yes, and it turned out she had acute appendicitis and was in surgery. I didn't relay this to my girls who were already sleepy, and we just rode in silence with my thoughts and this whole thing. I couldn't be mad at the moment. I had to be there for June. Thankfully, June was okay and was allowed to go home after 3 days. I took off from work for the week and spent as much time with my girls as possible. May had her exam coming up, and she would say goodbye to me every night at 6:30. She wanted to kiss me goodbye, but it was always painful when I knew that she kissed Derek with those same lips every night. On Thursday when she left, Lily came out of her room and came into my room. She was tired and looked like she had been crying. I asked her what was wrong and she admitted to me that she had seen Derek before in our house. She said him by name. Lily had been thinking of telling me for some time but was always so scared. However, she was sick of it. Not just that. Oh no, there was so much I was missing. What Lily said to me was heart-aching. She admitted to me that ever since she was 5, she had to play mom. May apparently locked herself in her room all day and either slept or ate. There were periods where Lily wouldn't see May for up to 3 days at a time. Food would get so low that Lily would have to make 3 to 4 trips to the grocery store and back on her bike just to get a decent amount of groceries. She had been learning to cook but wasn't very good at it. Additionally, she felt like her mom never liked her. She said that she had tried to talk to May on various occasions about depression symptoms, but her mom always said that what she was feeling was normal. Then, Lily said she was worried about her weight to May, and May said that Lily wasn't at her ideal body weight yet, and she needed to continue restricting meals. Yes, you heard that right. She was telling Lily to have one meal a day, that being lunch. Lily had tennis for 6 hours a day, biked close to 10 miles, swam for 2 hours, and then had to watch over her siblings. I was sick. I wanted to throw things. I wanted to scream at May. I wanted to divorce her and sue her, and everything was so red. Lily said she hadn't told me because she was scared to. And God, everything now was making sense. I told Lily that this would be the last time that May said anything like that to her, and that if she wanted, I could put her into counseling to talk about her feelings. She begged me not to say anything or do anything, or else it would ruin the family. She said that she would ruin the family. But I told her that this has gone too far. I told her I loved her and I would make sure that she couldn't be hurt anymore. She asked me to promise her, and I did. It was when May got back that I wanted to tell her that I know everything, but I decided to wait until the next day when the girls were gone. Well, the day came, and when the girls were gone, I confronted May about the cheating. She denied it at first, saying that I was being ridiculous and that she would never cheat on me. However, I had prepared for this. I had messaged her sister prior to our discussion, and her sister had admitted to me that she couldn't hide this any longer. I also had her boyfriend's number written down. When I asked May about this number, she denied it. But when I asked if I could put the phone number in the search bar for her phone, she hesitated greatly before giving her phone to me. I put in the number, and the messages came up. Suddenly, May was crying, begging me not to leave her, and that I was everything to her. She would end the affair, that it was only because I was gone so much that she had to take care of the children. I then screamed at her, asking about the days she locked herself in a room, where the girls had to ask friends for rides to their schools. 2 of them didn't have buses, because she couldn't get out of bed. I asked her why she didn't get Lily counseling, why Lily had to be the mom that wasn't. May was crying and said that if I left her, she would take her life. To say I was surprised would be an understatement. May suddenly went to the kitchen and grabbed a large knife, putting it to her throat and threatening to take her life right then and there. I pleaded for her to put the knife away, but she said she would only do that if I forgave her. She said she would stop the affair and be a better mother, but I had to forgive her to do so. I said I forgave her, and then she cried into my shirt saying thank you. This was 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm not sure what to do. I've started looking into divorce attorneys and alternate places to go with my girls. My business schedule is so busy that it will be incredibly difficult for me to get remote work, but I have emailed my boss explaining my situation. The issue I'm having is that all our family is over 16 hours away. I haven't told my parents. I haven't told anyone, besides Reddit now. I want to divorce May and take my daughters. I have found a cheap 2-bedroom condo that is on sale. I sent out an email asking the landlord how much it would be to move in as soon as possible. I can't mess with our accounts at the moment, or else May will become suspicious. It's so difficult having to do this because May has reminded me that I forgave her and that we should move on for the sake of the girls. Apparently she broke it off with the Derek, but I think she's with him. I feel stuck between a rock and a hard place. I hope to update when my boss gets back to me. Sorry if this was a rant or ramble. I have no one to share this with in real life, and I feel like my world is falling apart. I am home right now, taking a few remote days so I can watch over my daughter. I don't know what it is like being a single dad, but I will have to fight tooth and nail to make sure that I even get my girls. May can easily concoct a story saying that I was abusive and that she should have the girls because I am often away on work and I'm not willing to co-parent with her. I don't know. Thanks for listening. Oh boy, your wife feels suffocated in a life she built with you, then decides to uproot the whole family without asking for a vote from one suburban paradise to another, just for a fresh start that only she seems to want. Yeah, okay. It's one thing to feel the need for a fresh start, but to completely disregard the stability and well-being of your kids in the process? That's a whole other level of selfishness. She's evil. Your kids deserve better than being tossed around for someone's whims. And frankly, it's heartbreaking that this is the role she's chosen to play in their lives. Update. I apologize if this is not the right way to update. I'm not really sure how to update it if this is making a new post or editing the other one. Truthfully, I'm not very used to Reddit. Additionally, I am sorry if this has taken long to update. Things have been moving quite slowly to my dismay. So I want to thank everyone for your encouraging words and advice. It really has helped me clear my head and start to formulate a plan of what to do. Though I am still a little uncertain of my future, I have decided to take all of your guys' advice and hire a private investigator. There have been no exact pictures updates as of yet, but they said they would hope to get back to me at the end of the week. Additionally, I have set up a few hidden cameras in my bedroom, the door entrance, the kitchen, and the garage. It took a while to rig, but they have been tracking the house for a few days now. With me being home for quite a bit, May has not had the opportunity to possibly meet with Derek. She has made clear guidelines that until she gets her license, she will be out between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. Do I think she is still cheating on me during those times? Yes, I do. But at those moments, I try to make plans with my girls and spend some alone time with them. This could be watching one of their favorite movies, making a fort and reading books, having a campfire and roast marshmallows, or going to the pool to night swim. I think they have been enjoying the times we have with each other. Lily says she really appreciates the time we have together. She also said that June and Abby also have been enjoying the moments. It makes me feel incredibly guilty about the times I have not been there for them due to my business trips. The next issue I am having is that my boss wants me to start flying for trips again. This job pays good money, but I've started to look into other companies that would be able to accompany my situation. The position I work in is very nice and difficult to find, so many companies are consistently looking for someone to fill in this role and have another one of these positions on board. For the update part, there's not been a lot going on. However, I did reach out to Jane and told her that we needed to discuss. She instantly knew what I was talking about and said that she would not be able to talk until next week, but she would be willing to answer any questions I have. To be honest, there are a lot of questions running through my head, but I can't seem to put them down in a notepad or anything. Jane knows May has done something, and I think the guilt is starting to eat at her. I'm hoping that when we call, I will be able to have my questions formatted so it is ask and answer. I'm thinking of recording the call, but I'm not sure if that would be okay. As for May, she has resumed being fine. I have made an effort to ask her to get into counseling. I even offered for marriage counseling. I know that we won't be married once I have things sorted out, but I want to try and understand why she has done this to our family. Maybe she just doesn't care about what we have built. However, I have made a promise to myself and my girls that I will try every route to ensure that nothing ever happens to them again. I'm sorry if this update is not more thrilling or exciting, but I thought you guys deserve an update. I hope the next time I post I will have a better news. Again, thank you everyone for your input. It really knocked me to my feet and realizing that this is not something all in my eyes. My daughters are my priority. Thanks again. Update. Not an update, but a late night ramble? Hi. I don't know how this will work. I've been crying for the last 2 hours. My mind has been racing. I talked with Jane in 2 days. Everything has been so slow yet so fast. It is like the world is passing by me. I don't have any update really, but I kind of do. I have the girls in therapy twice a week with the therapist. The therapist suggested Lily go see a psychiatrist. We are having her tested for ADHD. F. Lily allowed me to sit in a session. I allowed them to have me in or wait so they have no pressure from me. And she explained feelings of depression. Not simple depression, but really deep, scary, effing horrible things. I've never felt like such a useless effing father before. Lily talked about parentification, and it makes me realize how much I have missed on my girls' lives. Lily was so scared to tell me about her depression, she was shaking, crying, and I asked to just hug her, and we cried. I told her how sorry I was about everything, and I would support her with any help she needs. The other two have let me in on their sessions, and they have expressed how they feel about the situation with May. Not to the extent of Lily's hurt, but I realize now that May hasn't been raising June and Abby. It was Lily. I hate May. I effing hate her so much. I don't know how I saw love for her. She is an ugly monster. Lately, the two youngest went to 1 week sleepaway camp for our religion. This was something they do every year. I made sure they were okay going, and the youngest two were ecstatic. I think some time away from home would do good. I asked Lily if she wanted to go, but she said no. These past 2 days, I have made sure Lily knows that I am here for her. We've gone out for lunch after her tennis practices. But today, dang. Lily and I rode to a marina within our neighborhood. Really pretty, sun was setting and we watched it set. We got ice cream and just talked about tennis. About everything, really. No one was around, so we didn't have much to worry about. I made sure not to overstep, but I told her she could share whatever she wanted with me. And we just talked. It wasn't talking to my little girl. I was talking to an amazing young woman who has gone through so much in life. So much more than she should have ever. I played some music after, and Billy Joel's Vienna came on, and we both just looked at the sun as it set. I don't know why, but there were tears in both our eyes as the song played. It was a comfort song for me growing up, and as I looked to Lily, I guess it maybe was one for her too. It was a good day, I think. Sorry if this isn't super exciting. Things are still coming together in terms of divorce, talking with Jane, etc. I should mention, I have been allowed to look around with other companies and look for a new job which has remote locations. The job will be just as demanding, but it will be remote. I have 2 companies already lined up with interviews. My boss has been amazing during this time. The whole company has. That's one thing I am thankful for. If everything works out, then I should be almost completely remote. Obviously, I would still be working full-time, but it would be from home, albeit there might be times where I do need to travel, but not as long as it has been. Again, sorry if this isn't exciting, but just an update? Thank you for everyone, really. My head has cleared more. I've cried more these few days than the rest of my life, but today was better tears. Wow, OP. You're helping Lily work through things in the healthiest way possible, and that's going to stick with her. At least you're getting the best kind of tears, the ones that heal. Then there's May. You're over here trying to be a responsible dad and break generational trauma, and she's off doing whatever she's doing. Let's face it, May's loss is Lily's gain. You've got this. What do you make of this? And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you soon.